Crossed over, took flight, tell the cameraman zoom in. I put you up on game, it's the podcast, tune in. Tune in, tune in, it's the Ace League podcast, better tune in. Crossed over, took flight, tell the cameraman zoom in. I put you up on game, it's the podcast, tune in. Tune in.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Ace League podcast. I am your host, Erica. This is the Ace League director, Will Lee. We also have Nick Wallery here. We have Q, and we have Julie Watson. So today we have a jam-packed show. We're talking about a lot of different things, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So, in an article from Atlantic, singer and songwriter Jill Scott is quoted by saying a white friend of hers married a seemingly wealthy black man, and it made her wince. And what are your thoughts on many black women opposed to interracial relationships?
Well, since y'all the guests, Q, I know you got something to say on that, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and start first.
So, I'm not opposed to interracial relationships. I've been in an interracial relationship. It really is, especially when you talk fast like how I do. So, I have children from interracial relationships, so I'm not opposed to it. However, I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I didn't know myself. I didn't know as far as, my culture. I didn't know how deeply rooted and how, serious it really is to love a black man, to really rock with a black man. So I'm not opposed to it. However, I do think it's very circumstantial. Love who you love. But it's a problem. It's a problem.
Well, wait, what way is it a problem?
It's a problem. It's a real problem in our community. I just feel like, for one, once again, it's circumstantial. It applies to whomever it applies to. But I just feel like black men are just lacking accountability. They're not just dating for their preference. They're kind of like just saying like, oh, it's us, and putting the blame on us instead of just saying, hey, I just like white women. I just like white women. That's it. Don't put it on us. So now it's become an issue to where it's our problem. Now it's black women's problem because black men are choosing to date so many, white women. But it's a problem because it seems like it's just easy for them to go and give a white woman the world without all of the... We get shit. Like, for real. We really get shit for wanting more from our black men. Where it's versus they'll go get with a white woman and just...
They get praised.
They put her on a pedestal. Whereas versus we have to get talked down at, we have to get ridiculed before we gotta tone it down, and it's just like it's like, why we gotta like
it's seen more that like women of color have attitude versus like a white woman.
So it's like, and then that's the biggest thing there. Oh, they don't want to deal with it. Oh, we stubborn, we loud, we opinionated. I just feel like
no.
Hold up, it's not.
By all means, because I want you to get in this, because before I tear a new one. You know what I'm saying? Before I tear a new one, go ahead and get in that real quick.
No, let me tell you something.
You gotta stop leaning up front. Me, you out there messing up the camera.
Oh,
you been on television before?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just a conversation.
I got
you know what I mean?
He was getting hyped.
No, let me tell you what my experience with both, black, white, Spanish, Puerto Rican. This one thing I can say about the Caucasian woman. She's more tolerant.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. And I ain't talking about a walking over tolerance. You know what I mean? Where you can be like, oh yeah, dude, she let you do what you want.
So it can be more understanding.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
It can be more understanding.
I hear that a lot. They be like, oh, you get a white girl, oh, she gonna let you do what you want to do. Well, heck no, that is not what I mean. Just talking, just simple. Hey, babe, I'm about to go to the gym. Go to the gym. No issues.
The Spanish Inquisition.
I don't have black. You going to the gym? What you going to the gym?
See,
black
I
woman,
think
what
that's
you going to the gym for? Why are you going to the gym? And look, I'm just going to the gym. And that's what I mean by they're just a little more tolerant than the black woman. You know what I mean? The black woman, I ain't gonna say, y'all always mad, always loud. It just, I feel like nowadays, the black women are the heads. You are. You know what I mean? And it's a reason for that, and that's another topic.
Oh no, that's definitely that's something I want to get into.
Oh, you want to get
exactly.
it right now?
Oh,
I can tell-
that's
oh,
what
I can tell you
we're
right
here
now.
for.
I can tell you the reason why black women are the head and why they are how they are. One is because back in the 1970s,
I feel like
look,
every black person should.
I have my college degree. She got her college degree. But back in the 1970s, you didn't have a college degree to be certain things.
Right.
Like, say I want to go be an engineer.
Yeah.
My daddy's been teaching me all his life how to be an engineer and build and make and do things. I have to go to school and re-educate myself or relearn something to do again. You didn't have to do that back in the 1970s. You didn't need a degree. If you was good at it, you was good at it. But nowadays, they place that to make us fail. They know we're not going to school to go do this all over again, but the black females doing these things, and that's where the issue is at when they go and do this and get their X amount of money and get their certificates and get their credentials and making themselves better. Now we still stuck here, you know, with the minimum wage jobs, and they're making the $18 and $20, whatever you want to say. So that making them the head, and I think they really, they really take advantage of that. You know what I mean? They really take advantage and they throw it in our face because I don't been there, done that.
I think it's a little deeper just in terms of the school
It's
thing.
so much deeper than that.
Yes.
Even going further back. I thought, okay, so I just feel like every black person at this point, we should know how we got to the point of where interracial relationships are such a popular thing. We should know this by now. Whatever you want to call it, the system, whatever, they strategically broke down the black household. They strategically broke down the black man. They strategically removed the black man from the home. They provided the public access to women and basically turned us on each other. You know, so we should know that.
And they started with the They started
time out where you're going at, where you're saying like we just started getting to the point where we're doing our shit. Like we just getting to the point where we're getting our degrees. We don't care, you know, about all of that because for so long we didn't know what the hell we was doing without our men. We didn't know. So many men was getting locked up left and right. I can guarantee you, like. That's all they had was the public access. I don't know where it got lost. I don't know what was the actual, tipping point or whatever it is, but we should know that even going further to that. Now, and I definitely agree with you now. It is to the point where, like I said, we doing our thing.
No.
Some of my sisters, they
all right.
They do the most with it. And I can agree with you. However, why is that a problem where you're saying like, oh, we're throwing it up in y'all? Why is it a problem for y'all to elevate too?
Wait, I gotta jump in there because let me address what you're saying. Systemically, has racism and things played a factor in the breakdown of the household? Of course, 100%. It has. All right, so there's no question about that, right? We could make a whole segment just about that, right? But for all intents and purposes of this conversation, if you can articulate yourself and have the intellect to say, I can identify it, that means you also can fix the problem. But here's the problem that I'm having with what you're saying right now. Black women are not being held accountable themselves. And so what's happening is that there's always this I'm going to blame this person. I'm going to blame the black man for not stepping up. I'm going to blame everybody. There's something always against them. White women are doing this. And a part of it later on in the show is when we talk about stereotypes. I'm going to put out a couple stereotypes, and I got some things that I want y'all to answer on that because these are questions and things and stereotypes that I keep hearing from multiple women. We got a Hispanic woman, black woman, white woman here now. So we're pretty well represented in this room. But what happened is this. Y'all got to start holding yourself accountable. There was a study done by Bowling Green University that said that there are every race, now please stay with me, every ethnic group has a higher marriage rate and divorce than divorce rate than except one. Black women have a higher divorce rate than marriage rate. Now, wait a second here. Now, if we take and dig a little bit deeper into that, that's not Will Lee stat. That is a factual stat of a study being conducted. So if we dig into it a little deeper than that, why is it that black women are not only not getting married at the same rate as their counterparts, but they also are getting divorced faster than their counterparts? There's something that you got to be held accountable for that. You know what I'm saying? In that. And so just to quickly put in there, we know that all black women are not married to all black men. We know that they marry in different races, but yet they're still getting almost 2 times as much. That speaks volumes where it's time to take a look in the mirror and say, what are we doing wrong where we not only are not keeping our men, but then we're not also keeping men of other ethnic groups. Because you can't just keep putting it on the black man because that's factual. That is information
so you're saying
that's been
that's
studied.
only for females though? It's not for...
That's for the females. For the men,
Okay.
for the men, it was at a higher rate than it was for females. Like the only group, according to their study, the only group that had out of all races, the only group that had a higher divorce rate than marriage rate, which they had it at 3.1%, 3.1% versus 1.7% of unmarried women. Does that make sense?
So you said it was, but you said it was larger for black men though.
No. I mean, what I mean is that more
The
black.
marriage rate.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
marriage rate is higher. The divorce rate is higher for black women than it is for getting married. So there are more married women. There's more people getting divorced as black women than they are getting married. And I got some more stats now I can hit you with, but these stats is frightening because it speaks to. We could quickly turn this, like honestly, we could turn this conversation into, well, black men ain't doing and being the fathers that they're supposed to be and everything else. But we've heard that segment a lot. What it's time to do is have accountability by black women to say, hey, if you don't want to have this statistic, I got one right here. Right now in 2020, in 2011, it was 83% of all black babies born to unwed mothers. That's 83%. Now in 2020, it's 85%. Wow. So the number's going up.
Yeah.
That's factual, right? So if we're having no situations where
The number going up for all races though.
no,
Somebody here got to stand up for black.
wait a second. No.
I'm trying.
All right,
Let the one.
All right, so let's just say this. Let's say this. I'm gonna put it into the standpoint of black women don't have a problem standing up for themselves. But I also may suggest to you that their ability to stand up to for themselves, as much as they stand up for themselves, instead of allowing men to stand up for them, might be the cause of the problem. Because I know that for most women that I've come across, and I can only go by my experiences, but I've come across a lot of women. A lot of women want to feel protected. A lot of women want to feel like there's going to be somebody that stands up and provides for them. So you have to allow a man to be a man. And if you're not allowing him to be a man, then he's going to find someone that is going to allow him to be a man.
And that's where.
At what point are y'all gonna? At what point are y'all gonna choose us to? When y'all gonna be patient with us to give us the time to do that? So. Going to I'm a black woman.
Well, we gotta wait. We gotta put you through school.
That is
we
completely
gotta
taking
put you through
accountability.
school.
No,
Get your stuff together.
No, you don't gotta do
then
that. You just said we get degree. You just said we're getting degrees.
By then, your attitude's set.
You just said we're getting
I
degrees
think all
at
of
a
it come
high
with
level.
growth.
However, I'm not going to get sick. I'm a woman that literally this year, 2020, I realized that maybe it might be me. And I'm not. I literally. You see, you got on a post when I said that.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
literally, it may be me. Maybe I need to figure out what the is going on with me,
Right.
and then go back. You know what I mean?
But I
So-
feel that way for all
Understand
races
that.
because I feel like a lot of people put a lot of stigmas on black women that makes them be like, well, if they already think I'm loud and all this stuff, why don't I just accept it? But I think it's like people in general need to be
I don't
accountable
think we
for
have
themselves.
a problem accepting it. I don't think we have a problem accepting it. I think everyone else does.
Yeah.
And it's like, how about maybe we're just a little loud?
Yeah, you
How
can-
about maybe we're just opinionated?
Right.
How about maybe y'all just deal with it? Like I don't understand.
But see-
However, I know a lot of women that take it to the extreme. For lack of better words, I'm from the hood. I know a lot of hood bitches. I know a lot of bitches that do the absolute most to the point where I'm even like, sis, how you even with this man? Like, I don't understand why this man even with you.
Yeah.
Like you're doing the most. You are emasculating this man. You talking like you making him look crazy. Like you making yourself look crazy. So I get it, and I do think we're gotten to the point where, like you said, like they throwing it up. We might be doing a little bit too much, but we literally are terrified to let our guards down. We are I can speak for, we want to be protected. We want to be protected, but we have not been protected for so long that it's like the moment we do, we don't know if y'all gonna have us. And it's fucked up. Like, we don't know if black men are gonna really, because we sitting up here now having debates about interracial relationships, like y'all not even gonna have our back. Y'all see that it's a problem. I can admit, I even was a woman like that just literally did the most at one point. Like, you know, so when y'all gonna be patient with us?
Real quick though.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, we're gonna introduce our new guest, Sade Soto.
Yes.
She's here. The question that we're talking about right now, we talked about how Jill Scott has a friend that married a black athlete married a white woman, and it made her wince. So the question is, why are so many black women opposed to interracial relationships? And that's kind of what we're debating right now.
I feel like I walked in on the ass end of what she was saying, but I do feel like it is that. We are currently in a place where we're degraded and downgraded by black men regularly. Mm-hmm. So naturally, we start to sit back and say, well, why is it that, you know, the brother from next door was never interested in me per se, but the little Spanish girl down the road or little white girl down the road he was chasing after, and I've come time and time again and shown him that I'm gonna have you. At the end of the day, we've shown time and time again we're gonna have y'all no matter what, and I start to feel like it's not reciprocated within our community.
I like to say you can go, yes, this white woman may cater to you a lot better. Mm-hmm. This white woman may let you whatever, she may not give you, you know, so much shit, but at the same time, like, that white woman ain't gonna go to war for you.
Right.
That white woman, she's not. I was
like, they have a lot to say right now.
No. You want to do it before I do it?
Yeah, I'm speaking. No. Fuck the black woman. Fuck the black woman that's turning against, that's doing all that. Because I'm speaking for a black woman that wants to be protected by a black man. I'm gonna go to war for him. I know men that I don't even know like that. That I'm literally like,
I see you.
Nah, like you ain't even. I don't want you. I've gotten to the point where when I see brothers pulled over, I stop. Mm-hmm. I stop. I get on Snap. I record it a little bit. Hey, y'all good? Who? What's up? Cause I already know. You know what I mean? I know what y'all face on a day-to-day basis. To the point where I really will only give, if I see bums and stuff on the road, like I will only give black men money, because it's like the black man, he doesn't have the help.
Worse.
No, I'm not. I did not say that. I did not say that. I said I will ride past.
Q, let me get this real quick, because what I'm hearing you say is essentially you're supporting your people. I'm not mad at you for supporting your people. Okay, I get it, and you're looking for protection. It's one of the things I said. Definitely. But at the same time, you're also asking for patience. Okay, so shouldn't that be reciprocated as well?
Yes.
Shouldn't patience be reciprocated with black men who have suffered the most and is the most hated man on planet Earth? Yes. Shouldn't we be given more patience because we've had to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, right? Yes. According to historical measures, right? Because if we want to get historical, let's get historical. So historically, do you know what used to happen at slave camps or no plantations? Let me tell you real quick for those of viewers who don't know what used to happen. Okay, so what happens is that they used to take the strongest black man that was on the plantation and gather up all the families and rape. That slave owner used to rape that black man in front of his family, in front of his children, and everything else to demasculate him in front of his family, and also to send forth his superiority towards those. Yeah. So we've had that stigma, right? Because I had this conversation with a couple friends of mine on a podcast of theirs, and that black men don't want to admit, even to this day, that there's still an innate fear of white men. Not because of physically. Physically, we know we'll whoop that ass, right? But we know when we say we fear white men, we fear the system of white men.
Because guess why? Let me just come up in the key. You know this? Just like I'm gonna go back to college degree thing.
Because I'm gonna go back to college degree thing.
Do you know a white man's high school education is better than my college education?
Yes, of course.
Yes. So we all. That's what I'm saying when y'all be talking about the protection. Who protecting us?
Yeah, we are. We are.
No, I ain't talking about. I'm not talking about physically.
Listen,
I'm talking about
y'all
mentally.
don't understand.
That was situation.
Listen,
that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about those things. Like, who gonna protect me?
Yeah, no, like
We are nothing without one
I
another.
repeat one more time.
We
His
are-
high school education is better than my college.
Yeah. Yeah.
High school is better. So we up against
Right, the
it.
system is being set up
Already.
to make you fail.
Already set up for me to be
Okay.
failed. So I
Okay.
can't even support my daughter to teach her how to grow
Yes, you can.
and not to be loud. Cause
Why not?
I'm doing too much.
Why not?
Because I'm home
Why
working
not?
3-4 jobs to help her grow, to help her calm down.
Why not?
Cause we need that. We need all that. You know that. Take a village. You're a reason. You're like you are because you didn't have a village. Did you have a village?
I'm not one of these.
I
So
know.
I
no,
think so.
no.
Hold on,
but
time
that's
out.
what the
You're
Bible
not
said.
speaking to.
Did you have a village?
Yes, I did.
So you had
I
the
grew up-
church.
yes, I did.
You had everybody
Yes, I
to be
did.
how you are.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Then,
Yes,
but,
I did.
But just like I said, you how you are. You know.
Yeah,
Because
I
that.
grew up in a very tight knit family. I had, I didn't have, my father was
I had a
like that,
village.
but I had a village.
I had a village.
I had all that. I grew up in a tight knit neighborhood. It was the hood, but I grew up just like that. And first and foremost, you're not speaking to the black woman that this topic is about,
Right.
On this panel.
Not at all.
You're not speaking about to this black woman that we're talking
Not at all.
about. Because I
When
think
my husband comes
everything
in the
that
house,
you're,
I
everything
plan
that
to
you're
be
saying,
his
I'm not
piece at the
I'm
end
not
of the day.
disagreeing
Because I
with
know
you.
what he goes
Because
through.
just like you just said, the black man is the complete is the number one, is public enemy number one. Guess who right up? Guess who right up under him? Guess who are right up under
But the
him?
others that we're talking about are going elsewhere.
It's true.
Look,
I
the
wanna
white
hear- I
woman
wanna hear
is
your
not
thoughts.
coming into the hood to take your all men.
That is
Just
a
say
fact.
that.
That is a
okay?
fact.
No.
We are not.
And
They
again,
take
All right?
Yo, Mike, go ahead, Julie. Go
You
ahead.
gotta-
Go ahead.
I'm just trying to
Go,
say, look,
Julie.
we are not coming in to take all the men.
Right.
That's
Thank
not
you.
happening. So there's a reason I'm saying, look, why is your man coming home for peace with you, but your man's going elsewhere?
And again, it starts in the household that you're raised in. I was
Exactly.
born with both my parents. My parents separated when I was 7 years old. My father showed me from young how to keep my husband. Not to say it like that, but I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was doing in this house. I was raised around brothers and a man. I've been around men all my life. So naturally, it starts at home. It starts
It
with what these girls are being taught from a young age.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Wait.
Yes.
Well, can I address that real quick? Because I had that. I knew y'all was going to go there. Okay. So, just according to the U.S. Census Bureau, right? That's a well-respected population report. It says that as of July of 2020, absentee father in the black community is at 59.6%. That's right here. Just so y'all know, I made sure that was bold. Where that is damn near triple of our white counterparts. So now note, maybe you have had your father in there. Maybe you had your father and your brothers who have been able to show you these different things. But a vast majority of us, which is at the 60% number, right, hadn't had a black man in the household. One, and that works both ways, because if you didn't have a black man in the household, the man, these men that are running around here now
They acting like
don't know.
mamas.
They
They
don't
They
know
acting
how
like
to.
they mamas.
But hold on.
Right.
But see, here's the thing, because I want to address that too, because we can get into weaponizing your child, because a lot of black women do that as well. So I got that.
Agreed.
I got that down there. But so
Definitely agreed.
let me finish this point real quick. When we have a situation where you have a single black mother, which is raising majority of these kids, when you're having these single black mothers raise these kids, what's happening is the trickle-down effect. She's spitting her vitriol into the next generation, is saying about what a black man is and what he isn't, right? Which then is forming these daughters now turning into these young ladies having an ideology of what they think a black man is. Now these same mothers are also teaching their son of this is what you're supposed to do through a lens of a female. I'm sorry, no disrespect. I was raised by a single mother, but a black woman, as great a job as you can do, you can never raise a black man. You ain't never been a man, so you can't raise a man.
You are absolutely right.
So wait, let me take it another
The
step
new ones
further.
think they can.
Let me take it another
The
step
new ones
further.
do, and
Wait
I
a second.
think-
And the new ones, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. To finish that point, is that not only are you having these mothers now teaching their sons what they think and perceive as a man, but essentially now what you're doing is you're raising these young men who are now saying they don't want to be men because they hear about how their mothers are downplaying the black men. Because that's why in our community is the fastest growing community of the LGBT community. We have the most gay men that are growing up now because they are being mistaught and they're getting misinformation about what they think manliness is, and so they don't know and they're confused. You don't have to agree with that. That's
I'm just
factual.
saying,
That's factual.
that's not factual.
You got
That's
girls.
You're
You
gonna
got
tell me-
girls
you're gonna tell
having gay friends and bring them around my son.
Okay,
And I
that's
gotta
how a
accept
person
that.
grew up. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, Will?
Yeah.
But
My girlfriend
That's a whole
got a
different
gay.
conversation.
that
That
is a
pisses
whole.
me off.
It is
I
a
gotta-
whole.
I gotta
I hope it did. I hope
It
it
just
did.
pisses me off.
Because
Okay.
That's completely. That's
That-
completely.
Unfortunately, you do.
How?
My best
That's what I'm
friend
But
trying
it's
to
not.
tell
It's
you.
not.
You
My
didn't
best
give
friend is
my
gay
son
too,
a
but it's
chance.
not what you. It's
My daddy ain't had that around me.
It's
No.
true.
Man,
I'm not
come
saying
on,
because
man.
a mom raised you, that now you're gay just because
It's
your
no,
mom
no,
raised
no,
you.
no, 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 no. That's not what
So
we're
what are you
saying.
trying to say?
That's
'Cause
not
I don't
what
know
I'm
what
we're
you're
saying.
saying.
We're
See,
saying they're
people-
passing down feminine traits to more. They're passing down more feminine traits to little
Through-
black boys.
But that doesn't
And not
mean
only,
somebody
and
gay.
not only that, because see, if you're
I don't
coming from
think
a
so.
person from an LGBT community, here's the argument of what you'll hear from that. The LGBT community will be one of the quick and first people to sit there and say, hey, you're born that way and everything else. I get that, right? If you want to make that argument, fine. But what I'm saying is that your influence, the environment
So,
do influence
just like
your
he,
thought
just like
process.
he just,
You
just like
are
he
who
just
you hang with.
Exactly,
You
just like
are
he just
who you
said.
hang with.
With us
No.
growing up
You
with the
are
mother.
who you hang with. If I hung around basketball players growing up, that's what I end up being.
Like,
So you're telling me if you hung out with gay people, you're gonna
what-
be
Yeah.
gay?
There's not no all the absolute.
No,
People,
no,
people,
I was like,
people,
though,
people,
I ain't
people,
turned into a
people.
hoe, and I've been around hoes my
Yes.
whole life.
But see, what happens is that people get into these
Look
all
at the
the
cameraman. All
absolutes.
them do camera
So
stuff.
there's not a such thing as all the absolute. So
Y'all
I'm
hate
not
it.
saying
No, exactly.
that
Right,
every
okay.
person that ever did that is how
Right.
it turns out.
Right.
No, that's not what I'm
Right,
saying.
yes.
What I'm saying is that there is a
That's
high
percentage.
probability that the people that you surround yourself
contributes
with,
to
then you
it.
know how they said the old
Yeah.
adage, I forgot who the philosopher was, but he said that you are an average of the 3 closest friends of yours.
That's what you
Yes.
gonna be.
You are an average of the 3 closest friends. So essentially, if you are surrounded in that environment, there's a higher probability. If we want to go mathematics, is a higher probability is this is going to be your lifestyle
Yeah,
choice.
you're gonna be a
So
product of
check
your
this-
environment. That's what they're saying. I think that's
How
what
did
Your
we
life.
get to here from
That
single
started
mothers?
with my comment
Okay.
on it's a generational thing. It's a whole, okay, you're my mom. I watched you be degraded and downgraded by black men my whole life. Naturally.
System that was put in place that created
right,
them to do
that
that. Let me
created
just
that
add,
to-
by,
exactly.
legalizing slavery in a country that's supposed to be free. But
That is an absolute fact because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, a lot of these black fathers would still be
Right.
present if it wasn't for the fact
Exactly.
that the system is getting paid by incarcerating them.
yes,
Yeah.
Point blank period. So a lot of this has to do with the system.
yeah, it's dollars.
You said it.
Bottom line.
You said
Bottom line.
you're not coming in the hood snatching up
Yeah.
our men, and that is a whole fact. At the end of the day, and nothing personal behind it, but you'll write my husband in jail faster than I will.
According to who?
Her opinion only.
No, because to push back on that, okay? Because I had this.
So you got a stack.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, hey, somebody did their
Right.
research.
Right.
Hey, y'all don't get mad at me because I did my research. But what I will say is this: is that I had this conversation with a young lady earlier today, a black young lady, and she was very adamant about, you know, how y'all said that we'll have your backs, and, you know, white women, the Karens, right? Because she asked me to bring that up. The Karens of the world will sit there and call the police on you in a heartbeat, get you locked up and everything else. But I suggested to her, I said, what about the domestic violence calls?
Yep.
What about those? Because I've seen personally many times where a black woman will call the police after striking a black man to get him arrested. Now we're gonna talk about that too.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. And
Are we
I
gonna talk
don't
about
think
No,
that
so that's very true. However, I've also seen them same black women breaking down, crying their ass off
Right.
because they knew that that was just
Behind
dumb.
the
Like that, it
situation
just was dumb.
that
Like,
they've been avoided in the
but so
beginning.
I don't think
Okay.
that that's just like they gonna do it with no remorse. I think when it's done with that on that particular, when it's done by
These the same
a
black
clear
women out
woman,
here
it's
coming in my
done
pawn
with
shop
the-
trying to
with
get
the-
bail money to bond out the man that they just got arrested. This is the cycle.
Yeah, but
So
it's,
the cycle,
that's
but that's a
just
vicious
back-
cycle.
Yeah, you know.
Look, this
woman
is a
thing, that's not a
stretch
black
of the
white thing.
imagination here, y'all. Okay, but let's just pretend that I am a grandfather, African American, with third generation here, and I've watched my kids grow up, and I'm now watching these kids growing up, okay? And I'm trying to understand that if my child has gone to school and has an education from college that's the same as a white kid in high school, what am I going to start telling my grandbabies, okay? And again, if white lady's not going in to take the men, at what point does the black man think, wait a minute, if there's no way to break this system, which is already set, to have me fail, to have me make, no matter, even if I go and I get educated, I get an education, I come and I'm going to put food on the table and take care of my family and protect them, and I can't, at what point does it subconsciously perhaps cross their brain that maybe I need to cross a line here to break a barrier, to infiltrate? Exactly. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I think that was a beautiful point.
Exactly.
I think that black men have been trying to get the white man's prize.
To further elaborate on the last segment that we had, I want to know, why are there so many black athletes and entertainers that choose to date outside of their race, and what do you believe the root cause of this is? And one example I'll give you is I was on Instagram and DaBaby just started dating Danny Lay, and everybody was commenting under and like, oh, of course the Spanish girl, like he had a black baby mama, so it's like, why are you going to these light women now and stuff like that. So what are your thoughts on these things?
Okay, so I don't know how true. I was always growing up. I've always was told like black men are slim pickings. Mm-hmm. So I was always told like the ratio to black men was like 5-to-1. So every one black man has at least, now this is just with black women, has at least 4 to 5 eligible women pursuing him. Mm-hmm. So now that's the average, hood nigga, regular average Joe. Now when you got access to more money, of course, that's the whole point of having money. You to experience more,
expand your horizons.
Now, black men are the shit. Black men, it's not easy. It's not easy to be attracted to a black man, to want a black man. With the black men, the shit, like they really are. So look. So it's like, so 9 times out of 10, this one black man, he done had Tamika, Tanya, Tammy, Chandria. He done had them 4 to 5 black women. Mm-hmm. I could probably again. So of course now, if he has access to Maria, he got access to Julie now. Of course, I feel like as humans, that's just our nature to want to explore. No,
you so wrong.
Okay,
that's my issue. Let me tell you something.
But how you gonna be out?
I'm gonna tell you. Look, we passing. I know what you started out saying. You went way ahead of what I'm about to say. This is another issue. What I'm trying to tell you, why DaBaby is with her.
Okay, tell me.
Can you handle this? Her coming up on the picture.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You sure you can handle that?
Yes.
Now, after she take that picture, do I gotta hear how you know that?
No.
Okay,
that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you what we go through.
The man that I'm dating right now.
Can you handle DaBaby that he's a superstar and this was just his
job?
Can you embrace that like he's embracing that?
My current relationship.
You can't embrace that.
My current relationship is that.
They can't embrace it.
I'm listening.
They can't embrace it. You're not going to take that picture of me with this other girl without you. You ain't doing it.
Not a chance.
You're not doing it.
9 times out of 10, if I know my man is a rapper, if I know my man is a rapper, if I know my man is a rapper, why would I be?
But don't say C like that.
We're not even talking about this girl being gorgeous. We're not even there yet. I don't even know what she look like. Can you be tolerant? Can you handle the success that I'm having?
Okay, yes. So your main point is tolerance. What were you gonna say about being a rapper?
So if I know my man is a rapper, 9 times out of 10, I've been with him grinding. So I've been to shows with him. I know how these hoes are. I'm not finna. I'm sorry, not finna. Hey, I gotta get rid of that in 2020.
It's alright.
Sorry, but why? I don't even understand that. I don't even understand why are you going to bat with this man if you know that's his job.
Right.
That's his job. I don't get it. So I don't understand why. Yes, I'm going to be super tolerant to that because it's like I know that's what you're doing.
Stats on that?
That's what you. No, and I'm speaking on that.
This is foreign to me.
on that. I'm speaking on that because my current situation is kind of like that. Like I know that he working. Like I can't be. I know he's not. Can't be talking to me all day long. I know he doing, and so it's like you can't just be.
Okay.
Like
Go ahead. You got something to say.
how do you not be tolerant to that? Now, if you're just like you're saying, using the same scenario as a rapper, 9 times out of 10. We already know this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know I'm going to the nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be. You know what's going on. I feel like if you have that type of relationship with a man of a higher status, there has to be an understanding.
Right.
So now, if you saying now, if you and that woman that y'all have that understanding, and she's still doing the most. Then you know you got a problem.
Yeah,
you can't take
easy.
her with you.
That's
you know what I
easy.
mean? So
I
don't
want
just say,
to. I want to take her.
Yeah, so it's just like, but y'all gotta have that understanding when you dating a man of a certain caliber. Like that, just you can't be out here doing the most like that. Like
my whole thing is the reciprocating of energy. So the way you just came out with, you know, if I gotta take a picture with a girl, you're not gonna.
You was finna chop my head off, thinking I'm like,
right. But let's say the role was reversed. Let's say I'm Cardi B. You Offset. Nobody really care about you. I'm Cardi. You Offset. Don't nobody really care about you. You got clout off of me. But every time I take a picture and I post it on Instagram or I shoot a video or I'm doing this or I'm doing that, the first people to downgrade me is black men. But that's the first thing y'all want to see. So again, it's the reciprocation of energy. If all I'm gonna get from you is negativity, I'm gonna put that back out towards you. Somebody come and step to me correctly, I'm not coming at you sideways. Don't come for me if I didn't send for you. And y'all have a real problem with coming for people without them sending for you. Hence the whole back and forth on the post originally when we first started talking about we was going to talk about this. Oh yeah, because you know the sisters is going to do this and the sisters is going to do that. Why is automatically everything is negative on our end?
No. Even going back to even going back to the scenario where I just said to every one black man is 4 to 5 black women. Them 4 to 5 black women, I got so many different layers to them.
Right. At least
Don't
3
even
of them
sit
is
up
gonna
there.
be normal.
So it's like now you can't even say like, cause I disagree. You was gonna get ready to chop my head off, and the whole time I'm agreeing with you. Like,
so I'm gonna ask you because you're
not
taking
all
notes.
black women.
Oh, yes,
so
absolutely.
not all black
He's
women
taking notes, so
are
I
not
wanna
like
hear what he
that.
has
It's
to
just
say.
like
Right.
so now that's you going to having to choose black women. You know,
Okay.
now you got a plethora of all these different type of women. You gotta want to choose to be with a black woman.
All right,
That's all it is.
so I was taking notes while y'all were speaking. Okay, and here's one of the things that I'm going to make sure that I put that out, put this out there. Is that thank you, appreciate it. One of the things I want to know is where did you meet these men at, right? So let's and that's a rhetorical question, right? Because we know online dating, different places, things of that nature, the clubs and everything else. So where you meet the man also has a big determination about what kind of quality man you're going to receive. Because if you're stepping into a club where he has this plethora of different options, don't be surprised if he chooses a different option. But that's neither here nor there. Because one of the things that I want to address is the online stuff. Because a lot of our women, especially black women, are not making themselves being presentable. And if I'm going to keep it funky with you, I'm going to keep it all the way funky with you. Because the selfie. We see a lot of selfies nowadays, right? I think everybody agreed with that. A lot of these selfies is fine. There's nothing wrong with just taking a selfie. You thought your hair looked nice and cute that day, take a selfie. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Right? My man's right here showed you he do a whole TikTok video when he feeling himself. So there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, when you are now sitting there getting to the point where now you're advertising for likes from a bunch of different various men, don't turn around, because I'm telling you, quality men, this is what we do. We sit back and we just watch.
And judge.
We watch.
And
now you can
and
say
ridicule.
hey, you can say judgment or anything you want, because we all do it. Because that's to say that somebody's not judging somebody, that is a habitual lie.
True.
We judge people every
Every
day, all day, you know what I'm saying, just when we see them, until we get to know who that person is. So if my only vision of you is being half naked while you taking a mirror picture every other day and getting 250 likes a day, and you getting all these men commenting, oh, hey, beautiful and everything else, you're not somebody for me. Right? Because what you're doing is advertising for the masses. And so if you're advertising for the masses, how can I view you as my black queen? Because that's a singular thing, right? When we talk about queens, right? We talk about that's a singular. So, all right. Sorry.
Agreed.
Yes.
You have something to say?
I was just gonna say, I think a lot of it is learned though. Still, like going back, somebody started off this whole segment by saying that it begins in the home, and the other thing is like, you know, you're you're a 70s kid, I'm a
Yes.
70s kid, okay? In the 70s, okay, white girls, we were taught Betty Crocker, okay? We were taught play with your Barbies, make a house, everything was, and while you're doing it, look
Home
sexy.
skills.
Yeah, home skills, and still can be, somewhat cheeky with smoking and this and that and the other, So when you're talking about tolerance, when you have a girl who's raised, like, you're going to be, Betty Crocker,
housewife.
housewife, and you're gonna play with Barbies all day, versus what you're being taught in your household, like, hey, don't take crap anymore. Stand up for what in the world just happened to you. I mean, it's like me and you. We're both standing for a whole big pile of dirt. Okay, I'm given the backhoe. You're given a spoon. And we're both shoveling the same thing, but I have better tools to shovel it with, coming from what was already set up in place. So it's coming down to, like, I'm very close. I mean, I come from Philly, all right, West Philly, of all places, okay? Probably, aside from me and my cousin, the whole place is black, okay? Except for us, that's how we grew up. I'm married to Jamaican, okay? It's just, I was raised, you love all people. Like, I didn't even really notice till I got to college that people were truly beyond what I saw of people's souls. Because, like, my parents taught me to have those eyes of Christ. Like, this is what you look for. You look for respect. You look for a soft word. You look for these traits, somebody who's humble, somebody who's courteous. These are the kinds of things that Christ would instill in you. Well, then when you get out in the real world, like, that little protective barrier, hey, that's nice that you have that, but that ain't, like, what you see every day, So all of a sudden it's a whole new thing. So at that point you say to yourself, well, like, okay, well then how come this family who's from Camden, my husband was an Olympic coach, so this family who's from Camden, who they have chosen in their all of the kids, Black American, have quote unquote stereotypical white names. Sean, Kimberly. I mean, that's not what you normally, typically back in 1970 were naming your kids, and they joke all the time. They don't sound black, all these stereotypes. And the family says, look, this is just how we chose in our family to raise our children. This was a household determination. So when you're faced with a system in a country where you're trying so hard to overturn that system, look, I would never want to I'll be the first to admit, I would never want to trade places. I know how hard you're fighting. It's like you're fighting to keep your sanity, you're fighting to get an education, you're fighting to keep your family, you're fighting to keep your kids, you're fighting to keep your man. You're fighting in every area where you are, okay? And then in comes somebody like anybody else other than you who comes in and it seems like it's easy. It's not that. We're fighting so much against each other that we're not looking at the structure that's been set, that's so antiquated, that needs to be just wiped away. And honestly, I personally look at it as a good thing when there's more people reaching out across races, because how I'm raised, how you're raised, now we come together and we have different perspectives and we can start changing what has been set in stone all the time that everybody's afraid to talk about. And sometimes it takes somebody who doesn't know you, who has not walked that walk, who's able to say, hey, look, just let me, that saying about water always beating the rock all the time. Okay, that's how I'm known in my family, because I'm soft-spoken. I wait, I listen, but when it's time, it's like I'm just that water that just makes that rock give way. Instead of doing this, I can't see the point. There's no point. And why would you want to come home to somebody who's like...
I completely agree. It's like, I feel like that's the thing though. Like, we just so much, like, at what point are we like, black men and black women, at what point are we going to just acknowledge, like, okay, we fucked up as a race. Like, we're fucked up, black men. We're like, when are we just going to choose one another and just stop with the why she you just said that. You literally just said 9 times out of a lot of, like you said, that's a tough conversation. People don't want to admit it, but a lot of rapes lead to promiscuity,
Yes.
and it is. It really is, and that's kind of where it comes from. And now it's just a trendy thing. So you see so much of it. It's no holding back. Nothing is hidden anymore. Nothing is private anymore. And that's just social media. And of course, if you're looking for specific type of work, you're gonna find that on social media. Right. That's what social media for. You got to get out in the real world, because Real black
But I
women not
think
like that.
the real black women now, I think if they use social media to their advantage and took this time where everybody is in this
They
COVID
are.
situation where we're not so much, face to face like this, etc., capitalize on the dollar in this country.
We are.
Set up the enterprise, set up the place, the things to make those changes, because the opportunity now for anybody, literally, because behind those virtual waves here, nobody's really checking out black, white, purple, green, blue, whatever. They're checking out brands. They're checking out things that are running and driving that dollar. Here's the time now for anybody who wants to make a change, make it.
So, with the stereotypes, Q, I'm gonna come to you first, okay? All right. Why is it that it's considered self-hate when a black man chooses to date outside of his race?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you view us black men as some sort of self-hate when we choose to date outside of our race?
Because just like you made the point very loud and clear, going back into slavery, it's like these same. If we know that slavery, all the things that we've learned were acquired through slavery and all of that stuff, what makes you think that these white people still don't have the traits of their slave masters? So it's like, how can you just made that point of, the system or whatever, emasculating the black man. How can you go and choose what comes from the system? Like, how can you go and choose a white woman? How can you go and choose this? Because this, historically, this white woman has cried rape and wolf, and Matilda, all of that good stuff. So it's just like, subconsciously, we know where most black people are conditioned and programmed and stuff like that. So it's like, you're not getting it. It's deeper. It's deeper, and I don't think
love isn't love.
I don't believe the term of you can't help who you love. I don't believe that. I think that's bullshit.
Okay. All right. Here's my question to you, Julie.
Okay.
Since it's often said that black men can't handle a strong black woman, right? This is a stereotype that's out there. We can't handle a strong black woman if we choose, to date outside of our race. So can you give me the differences between what is a strong black woman versus a strong white woman?
Sure.
What's the differences?
Okay, talking about stereotypes here. Not that this isn't what I'm but I'm just saying what I see. Okay.
Yeah. So what's the difference between a strong black woman and a strong white woman?
Sadly, when you hear strong black woman, I think that from a other side of the coin perspective here, that's taken as an angry black woman.
Yes,
is
ma'am.
what strong and angry are like synonymous.
Mm-hmm. Especially
Okay,
when black women follow.
and I mean that is number one. Now, if you from there, okay. But when you say a strong white woman, you're thinking about a lady who's going to go out, get a second job, a third job. She's going to have 3 kids. Maybe her man left her, so maybe she's a single white woman and she's out there just trying to get an extra job, an extra this, and still get the kids going, etc. But you won't ever hear of a strong white woman who's angry. You just won't. Like, I don't even see an image in my mind of that.
So the Karens don't come across to you.
Well, they're not. I don't think they're just
I
supposed
was
to be
told
strong,
to bring that.
though.
I was told to bring that up.
They're not
So-
raised. You just
Right.
said that though. They're
It
not
is.
raised to be strong.
Yeah,
They're
Yeah.
raised
Raised
to play
to be
Barbie
raised
and
to-
play.
yeah.
Yeah, so they have
Okay.
this certain I don't even know the word right now, so you might have to skip me because I
Okay,
just
all
lost
right,
it.
all right,
but
gotcha. All right, no, I appreciate that. Was you done with that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, strong. If you asked a white woman, what does it mean to be strong? Okay, it would be to know what your self-identity is, to not lose who you are, to know exactly who
That's
you
what
are.
it is.
That's what strength is.
So
for
what is the
us.
difference? So
You know?
in pertaining to the question, because I understand, and
Right.
that's a beautiful soliloquy right there about what the difference between a black woman. But into the question of black men are viewed as not being able to handle a strong woman. So that's almost
I think
inferring.
it's the anger. It's
But-
like if you're a black man coming from a 200 years of anger. Okay, look, let's just be honest. Like, you hear about your great grandpa, then your grandpa, and all
Okay.
that, and you have anger in your veins. It is pumping
Gotcha.
in your blood. Why would you want to encounter anybody on a daily basis who's full of anger? That's what I
Gotcha.
have to know.
And so
It just
I
doesn't
know
make
look,
sense.
I want to because I got a question coming to you next. But
But anybody,
but see,
but then I'm just
that's
saying that
honest
it's just
answer.
a very
That is such an honest answer because we've heard these different stereotypes, okay?
It is.
And we've heard those. So I'm about to come to the next stereotype. Coming to you, all right?
I want to hear how we break them off.
Yeah.
So why do black women who are claiming to be proudly independent are always looking or seem to be seeking for a relationship or to be with someone? Why is that proudly independent woman that claimed all the time that I'm independent, I do my own, I take care of my own, I don't need nobody, everything else, but they are always seeming to thirst after a I shouldn't maybe use the word thirst, but after a relationship.
Well, on that one, I can't speak to that simply because I've been in my relationship with my husband now for 11 years, going on 12. We've been together since we was 19, 20. We got 2 kids together. But difference is, I am married to a black man, but he is Puerto Rican. 100% Puerto Rican. The reason why I went after him was because every black man I would get, you're pretty for a black girl, or because I'm half Dominican, I'm only gonna mess with you because you got a little Spanish in you, I can't deal with black women. So for me, I feel like I'm as independent as they come. I got my own job, I pay my own
Black
bills.
and Dominican?
Yes.
Oh, you double crazy.
Shut up. Don't start.
I'm gonna say real quick.
I agree with that.
I was gonna say real quick. You can continue.
Y'all know
but
I was just serious.
I was gonna say real quick because y'all talk about black women being angry. The stereotype on Spanish women is that they're crazy and they're
We'll
loud.
stab
Because you know how
you,
many
we
times I
loud,
get, oh,
we-
what are you? I'm Puerto Rican. Oh, you're crazy.
Right, that's
I'm
the
probably
first
the
thing I
furthest
hear.
person from crazy.
Exactly.
But I'm crazy because I'm Puerto Rican. I'm
Right.
Like,
So
good
a
job.
lot of it is
And
What
then
is
people,
it?
and then
We're
people
talking
throw that in
stereotypes
there.
right now.
They would like to.
Yeah.
It's very subtle. It's like,
Stereotypes.
oh,
Right.
oh, you're
Oh,
Dominican.
stereotypes.
Oh.
Yeah, y'all like to stab people.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
That's not what it is. Who told you that?
And where are we gonna go with that if you don't drop those stereotypes?
Right.
It's like,
So
Yeah,
for me,
exactly.
as
Stereotype.
independent as I try to be, like I said, I pay my own bills. I go to work. He has his job. He makes good money or whatever. At the end of the day, for me, just being me, I grew up in a 2-parent household. Again, I have my mother and my father around up until a certain point. I personally love being alone, but at the same time, I love love. Mm-hmm. So I feel like a lot of black women are like that. We love being alone. We can kick it by ourselves all day. Call up the girls, have a drink, whatever. I don't need you. But I do love love. And unfortunately, so many of us, going back to what you said about, molestation and rape in the household and stuff at a younger age, get caught up in that promiscuity. So we start picking the wrong guys that we want to be in love with. And now that independent flies out the window because I can't be independent with Johnny because Johnny don't want me to go outside. Johnny want me to be in the house all day cooking and cleaning because his idea of what a good woman is a woman that doesn't leave the house and is a homemaker. I don't want to be that. So now I'm perceived as being an angry black woman because I'm stuck in the house all day cooking and cleaning and trying to have your babies and doing this and doing that, and it's becoming a stress bubble for me. I'm not used to that. I'm used to taking care of myself, doing for my own. Most of us start working at the age of 14 in our community.
But that's a really big mixed signal to be giving somebody. I can take care of myself, I can do it, but then why do you keep leaving me?
Well,
It is, but again,
how do
lot.
you interpret that? You're like, do I stay or do I go? Do I stay or do I go? Like, which way do I run?
I think it's a type of independence that you can state your independence, but at the same time, y'all have to be on the same level mentally.
Right,
Yes.
and
So
that's
it's like,
exactly
and that's where the
it comes down
relationship
to.
will work.
When
Exactly.
the communication is right to where it's okay, look, I know you want to go to work, boom, you're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to help cook after school. I'm going to grab the kids, you do this. And y'all set up a plan. You can keep your independence and still be that stay at home or, that trophy wife that your husband is looking for. But a lot of it stems back to the fact that we grow up so not loved in our community that the first thing that we want to do when we're old enough is go look for love. And we look for it in the wrong places. I'm not going to say that.
That's very true.
All right. So last but not least, my man Nick. Look, so
So I know his answer going to be good. He's been having all the answers today.
yeah. All right.
You ain't quiet. You get brewing over there.
Look. So Nick, here's the question. Why is the word submit such a bad word to black women? The word submit. Why is it such a viewed as a bad word? There's a lot of women that give a lot of pushback, and now it could be of all races, but just for intensive purposes, once again of this show, is that the word submit. Why is that such a bad word to black women?
Man, that's because, they be putting all them titles on, like, just like the word you said, just know if that's a bad word.
Yeah, so you don't feel it's a bad word.
No.
Okay.
I don't think
All right.
it's a-
I mean,
it's
if
a-
that's your answer, that's your answer. So,
but I don't think it's a bad word. What you was
I
gonna
agree
say?
with that.
well, because I'm gonna just say like this from what I've seen, and the word submit is almost like it's a forfeiture of oneself.
Right.
Okay, so a lot of people hear that word and they go into saying, "Well, I can no longer be me," and I don't like the idea of being under somebody else's control,
Right,
under
right,
someone
right,
else's.
Can I ask you,
Yes, please.
because I feel like I'm a little confused right now. Do you mean submission mentally, physically, sexually? Like, what are you meaning by the word submit?
Well, biblically, what it says in Ephesians.
Yeah, what do you say?
So let me go into Ephesians, right? I'm gonna get biblical on y'all real quick. 5:22. All right. So when it said that wives submit unto your husband as he submits unto the church, right? And you go there. So that submission is when you come into become one, right? So I guess I'm going to refer to that on the level of, are you dating to marry? Or are you married? Okay, so I'm gonna just make sure I put it out there, not just some random blowjo you meeting on a fly by night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got in your feelings. So that's what I'm saying. So is that an issue for women to have to submit under, especially in the new age? I'm not saying, because the women now, I think it's a fair assessment. I got 4 women here. I think it's a fair assessment to say that today's woman is not the same as grandma's woman.
That's a fact.
Very fair.
Is that fair?
Very fair.
Okay, so if we're talking about a new age type of woman, that word submit now hits different. So why is there such a gap between the generations? Let me ask that. Yeah, I put it that way. Let me rephrase it. Why is there such a gap now between the way grandmother used to do it, where divorce was not an option?
That's right.
And now today it's swipe left, swipe right if I just don't like the way
Well,
you look.
Because
This is my
grandma-
question. Wait, there was still one
Oh,
question.
yes,
I got this.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
There you
Nick.
go.
Now that you've expounded, I'm ready.
And I know you don't heard this before.
Yes.
You got grandma now, 45 years old.
Fair.
That's why. You got, these girls, mom, they parents, 24, 4 kids. That's the issue. They not being taught nothing.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I was about to ask you the same
Yeah.
thing.
They just, I want a lady, man.
So you feeling like they're
I
not
want a
mentally
lady.
there
I
yet
heard you
for
say
them.
about the independence and all the other stuff. Yeah, that's fine. But I want a lady.
So you want her equipped with the skills that it takes
I
to
need
maintain
growth.
you.
Even
Yes.
when y'all was saying
I
being
got you. That's fair.
molested and raped, I got it. You mean you 40 now?
Well, can I
I
ask,
still
can I
got
ask
to
a
deal
question?
with something you happened to you at 12, like growth.
But
I still got to deal with that.
I feel that, but then again, what are
And that
you
goes back to
doing to
not
help?
brother.
That's
But that's what
trauma.
I'm saying.
Brother.
But what are
We
you
don't
doing to
think-
help her get past that?
Exactly.
What are
Exactly.
you showing her that's
Of
helping her
course.
get past
But just
that?
like I
Can
said,
I ask you a question though? I want to ask because you said you don't care about the. not that you don't care, but like whatever the independence, whatever happened when you were younger, whatever. What's a lady to you? That you say you want a lady. What's that? What are the
I'm not
qualities?
I'm not a
you
lady,
see?
but you know what I mean. Just like I said,
No,
just
what are the
somebody-
qualities
what
you
do you
want in a
need?
lady?
What do you
for a
want?
lady?
Like, that's a
Like
lady.
what's it like? If you say I see this girl, I'm like, okay, I like her. That's a lady that I want to get with. That I want her to be my girl. What are the qualities that she has to
I
possess?
can tell you one. Just know how to pick up fights. I want her to fight for me. Pick her fight. I want her to argue. I mean, I want you to have your times where you can get on me and be aggressive and say I'm wrong, but not all the time.
And I can respect that.
I
And
can't
that's
all the
okay.
time.
Yeah. and
But
that's
back
what
to
respect
Will's
is.
That's-
Iron sharpens iron.
Right. I just want to throw something out there back to Will's question about not being able to submit like our grandmothers did. All right, so I don't know about y'all, but I watched my grandmama have 12 kids by my granddaddy. My granddaddy was in the army. My granddaddy had 14 other kids outside of that relationship, okay? My grandmama stayed with this man through thick and thin, knowing that he had went off and had 14 other kids outside of this relationship. Same thing with my mama. I told you, I grew up in a household with both my parents until my mama got tired of it and said, you know what? I'm not doing it no more. I'm over it. I watched this man come and go as he pleased as a truck driver, do whatever he wanted to do. My mama stayed in the house, cooked, cleaned, took care of us kids, made sure we had everything, and still went to work every dang on day, okay? The generation that me watching her go through that, let me know right then and there. my kids are going to be okay. My dad had a saying after he broke up with my mama, my kids still call me daddy because he never stopped once being our father. They just were no longer husband and wife. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and suffer to have my kids have a daddy in the house when you can still be a father. You can come see these children. We have no problem co-parenting.
Well,
that is the difference
see,
in the generation.
See, you're bringing up a valid point. I wasn't going to bring this up because that leads into a whole nother gateway. But I actually had this wrote down. Weaponizing child support. Right? Yeah. Sounds like your mother nor did your grandmother weaponize the children.
No.
And using the system up against the men, which is just to quote Dr. Ken Gordon, it's just when you do that, you're making a mistake by inserting that I don't deem you good enough or you're not doing enough. So now I'm going to use your children against you. And that is a very dangerous thing that happens in our community. I'm just going to say, because I think it's fair to say in the black community, we know that it happens a lot more where we weaponize our children against another parent. And not to say that it doesn't happen both ways, but the majority of the time, it's black women who have the children that use those children up against those men. And that is one of those things where that is also a characteristic which black men see, and they also look at it and say, do I want that type of headache? Do I want it to be a situation where I'm going to raise my kid? Like if you give me, I can't speak for everybody. I know all dudes ain't good dudes, right? So remember, not all in absolutes. But if you're talking about is a man going to raise his child, most black men will raise their child without you. They might not do it the way you want them to do it, but they will raise their children without you. Until you start doing all that extra where you're going to use that child as a way of get back, that doesn't work. And it doesn't work, and it becomes an animosity. Because if me and him best friends, right, and I see what he went through with his baby mama, and his baby mama did all sorts of things where didn't let him see his kid for 6 months and was having them pay $350 each paycheck out of his $700 paycheck for child support, and he still couldn't see his kid, and he supposed to have a custody thing, and she readjusts it every week or said that, because this is what a lot of women do. I'm not just saying black women, but a lot of women do, is they claim abuse in those situations. And once they claim abuse, you can no longer see your kid. Don't have to be factual. Just claim abuse. And now you can no longer see your child. And so it'd be one of those situations where I'm looking back like, do I want that? And then I we all try to act like we don't hear stereotypes, right? We try to pretend. But we know we hear stereotypes. We deal with stereotypes on a day-to-day basis. And we all do it. I don't care who you are, you do it. We are programmed that way. We are programmed that way until we get new information, right? To change that thought process. So I would say, yes, I agree with you, man. And I agree with you that these things aren't the same. But I just wanted to ask those questions. I know we got to get ready to go to a break. But yeah, I wanted to put that out.
Cool. I want to thank you guys so much for coming to the Ace League podcast. I think we had a super great conversation, very explosive topics, very great point of views from all points. And so if you guys want to plug yourselves and your social media, you can go ahead and start.
Okay, Julie Watson on Facebook. I'm Julie Watson, and on Instagram, Julie Watson 2 Paris, the number 2 PARIS 4.
Alrighty, I'm on all platforms: Twitter, Facebook, IG is NovaCanQ, NOVACANEQUE, and that's all platforms.
My name is Nick Wallery. I got my own foundation called Trust, where I mentor like 200-300 kids. And I'm doing my first children's book. It's called 44 Fit. Probably be ready at the end of the summer, about my overseas experience.
I do.
Yeah.
All right. Love that. I'm Sade Soto. Sade Soto on Facebook. Cash America Pond. If you guys need anything, hit me up. On Instagram, you can find me under Mrs. Soto, the Hustle Goddess. Everything's spelled exactly the way you'd find it in the dictionary.
And as y'all all know, I'm Will Lee, Ace League Director. I'd like to thank all my guests for coming out here. This was a great topic, and I think we got into some meat and potatoes, and it's really needed. And so if you want to be a guest here on the show and you want to talk about real topics, by all means, you come over here and we'll get that together, okay?
Definitely.
Thank y'all once again. Thank y'all for coming out. This is a segment, Nick, that we do called Start, Bench, Cut, right? Where we take some of the best players in the state of Florida and we tell which one we're going to start, which one we're going to cut, and which we're going to bench. Or no, I'm sorry. Which one we're gonna start? Which one we're gonna bench? Which one we're gonna cut? All right. So I got the 3 first one that I'm gonna put out there. You tell me who you're gonna start to keep on your team, who you're gonna bench, and who you're gonna cut. All right. First person is Shaq Johnson Sr. out of Jacksonville. You know who he is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we have Alante Fenner,
Okay.
and then we got Jason Burnell.
Okay.
Out of those 3, who are you starting? Who are you benching? And who are you gonna cut?
Man, I already know. I'm starting Shaq.
You starting Shaq.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
gotcha.
'Cause he's so proven.
Look, Shaq has been putting in some numbers.
That's what I'm
and they're on
saying.
like a 12-game winning streak.
We-
I've been watching. Hey, brother, I've been watching you. Ain't no question.
We talking about a guy who had a tough leg injury,
Came back.
and you know that take mental toughness, man, to come back and still come back on top, playing at a high level.
Yeah.
So I definitely got to go with Shaq on that.
Okay. Who you got? You're gonna bench.
I'm gonna have to probably bench Alter.
Who?
You say?
You talking about Alante? You gonna bench Alante?
I mean, yeah.
All right. So you gonna bench Alante?
Yeah.
All right. And then you're gonna cut.
Um.
Jason gonna see this, man.
No, you right. I messed up.
Like,
I messed
come
up.
on, man.
No. I messed it up.
All right. So come on.
I'm gonna bench Jason.
You're gonna bench Jason.
Yeah, I'm gonna bench Jason, man, just cause you know what I mean. Of course, I know him.
Yeah.
I do know him,
Yeah.
and he think he better than me.
Okay. He a young fella. He ain't number what, like 19, 20?
Yeah, you know what I mean. I feel like he worked hard. He came a long ways with his basketball, and I think he's passionate, and he's proven now. He's proven, each time I follow him, I see him doing better
he
and
looking
better.
better and better,
So you know
exactly.
what I mean. I gotta bench him.
You
So
gotta
I'm gonna
bench
go with
him.
that. Yeah, man.
All
I
right,
gotta go
all
with
right.
that.
And so that means you cutting Alante.
I gotta cut him. Yeah.
All right.
Because of these other 2 guys, you know what I mean.
Okay.
I want to keep all 3.
Yeah, no, I
But you
know. Of
can't.
courh you do, but you
know what
can't.
I mean?
All right, so you got to make the
And
tough
that's
call.
my guy.
All right, so look, I agree with you. Shaq Johnson Sr., he's been looking really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, he's been looking really, really good, and he's a pro.
Right.
Like, he's a pro. And like I said, I look forward to seeing him this year in the A's.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, we got all the top players in the state going to be in this summer, and
Right.
this only a way for you to sharpen your skills.
Yeah,
It's about to get
yeah,
real,
yeah.
for real.
I'm just watching.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah.
Man. Maybe you can get on the sideline with a suit and tie,
Right,
man.
there you
coach
go.
it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Between Jason Burnell, I've seen just the video clips.
Uh-huh.
I've seen Alante in action.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to say I'm going Alante.
Right.
I'm gonna go Alante. To bench.
Right.
And then I'm gonna cut Jason. And it's only not because the young fella don't look good on his tape.
Right.
But I ain't seen what he looked like against the other top pros
Right.
neither.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? There's a difference when you're playing in your pro league. There's,
Right.
there's things you can take advantage of being imports and
Right.
stuff of that nature. When you playing a pro-am with everybody on that roster, it's the real deal. It's levels to this. So,
Right.
I want to see what he looks like this summer. Then I may change that. But
Right.
I like Alante. He
Of
good
course,
people.
yeah,
He good
I'm
people.
saying
So, you know what I'm saying? So, so that's that. For the women, on the women's side, I'm not sure if you know these women, so I'm going to sit there and do that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right. So we got, if I tear up your name, please forgive me. Jatera Bonds, she played in the Ace League Pro Showcase. The girl can play from Florida.
Right.
She's legit. Tony Cox from Florida College.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aisha Baker from Stony Brook. Okay. She's a big girl, like, 6'3", 6'4".
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? A little block work. She do a little bit modeling too now. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
So, if I had to pick these 3 in order, I think I'm going to go with the order that I have them on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go with Jatera Bonds, 1, because she's solid. Like, she's a beast down low.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think nobody can do nothing with her. So, I'm going to go, I'm
And
starting.
it has nothing to do with that Florida background.
I mean, she did go D1 for a reason. Like, you see what I'm saying? That goes in the account, but I just seen her personally. And I just seen her
You like
play.
what you
and-
see?
Oh, I like what I
Okay.
see. She's still doing it for real.
Okay.
So I'm going with Miss Bonds to start. I'm going to go. I like that Tony Cox. I talked to her a couple times right before the showcase, and just wanted to bring her in. I know she played at a smaller college.
position?
She's like a small forward.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and she can move that thing, and she knows how to, got good footwork, and,
Yeah.
and she can play. So I'm gonna go with her on the bench, and then with Miss Baker, even though she has the size, and I think she might have been ducking that smoke. I'm going to sit there and say that she's probably more, concerned with things outside of basketball now. So currently she's probably not with it. So I'm going to probably cut Miss Baker.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much for watching the Ace League podcast, and make sure to subscribe to us on all our social media platforms as well as our YouTube channel.